What's going on, fam? Hope you're having a good one. Angus Beef here, and I want to drop some flames of real talk into your newsfeed and timeline today. And as always, a bit of something controversial, but that's what I'm about. So what I want to touch on today is basically the whole notion of fixating on food. And what's so interesting is that the more that I do research around the studies around this, it just fascinates me so much and bulletproofs my love for the anti-dieting game. Now, there's a few studies in particular, one of them that I want to touch on, and it's where basically the study was done on a whole heap of people, like guys specifically, and prior to the study, they were just normal Joe Blow guys, healthy, active, weren't batting an eye over their weight, had a great relationship with food, they were eating intuitively, they were pretty strong, active, just that sort of thing, right? And they were put into this environment where basically, they were forced to kind of adhere to an eating schedule. I believe from memory it was like 2 meals a day. So they might have been eating about 3K calories or so intuitively. But then in this study, they were taken down into about 1,600 calories and were allowed to have as much chewing gum and caffeine in terms of black coffees and stuff as they wanted during the day. And I believe the grind was for like 3 to 6 months. And obviously early stages in, all of them are experiencing the effects of something like this, which is like headaches and obviously losing weight, losing muscle, and kind of like noticing their body composition change and becoming fairly skinny fat. And for many of them, what actually happened was that I believe they were allowed to go off-site to sleep, but then they would have to come back and stay in the environment, or some of them had to stay in the environment the entire time. But some of them would go out and sneak food and go out to binge on milkshakes and stuff like that, because this was in like the 1960s or 1940s, like we're talking years ago. If they went out and did that, obviously it would fuck up the study, so they would be excluded from it. And obviously those who are still going strong, they were finding that they were having just like insatiable kind of like thoughts around food all the time. And by that I mean like while they were eating, they were thinking about their next meal. While they were sleeping, they were dreaming about food. They were finding themselves looking at recipe books for like just shit in terms of just like food and just like recipes, and like their minds were being fixated around food. Their hunger was increasing. They were finding that basic things like white bread and plain biscuits and shit were just like, so fucking good. And they were snapping at each other. They had no sex drive. All this sort of shit was going on, right? And then so come the end of the study, this is when the magic happened, aka the whole idea was that these guys were put through this grind so that way the after effect could be studied, aka introducing them back into like normal eating and how long it would take them to basically get there. So in other words, what's happened is that they've gone through this famine period basically of forced and gradual starvation. So they've gone from normally eating about 3,000 calories or so, give or take on average, down to about 12 to 1,600. And basically then the study continued in terms of how and if they could continue back into normal reality. And basically for some of the people, what happened was that they were slowly added calories back in, so 400 calories for I think like a week or so, then another 400 and another 400, and kind of conservatively increasing their intake back up. And then for the other bulk of them, it was just like straight back to their normal previous eating in calories. And initially for a lot of them it was a bit of a struggle, and they were still binging and stuff like that, but within about a couple or a few months, they had gone back to normal. A bunch of them went on to become chefs and stuff like that, given that they now loved food so much. Some of them had some real solid psych shit going on. But more of the story, they were, the bulk of them, able to return back to normal fairly smoothly as a means of just getting back to eating more food. Now, what this should show you, if you want to go and check out the study, it's easy to find. Let me know in the comments below if you want the exact name of the study. But more of the story here is that what those guys were put through, right, guess what? That's like a version of modern day dieting. So in other words, for like, conventional dieting and stuff, it's only been around for about the past couple of few decades, right? Like it hasn't been around since the dawn of time. But what's interesting though, right, pardon me, is that for a lot of us, when we go through, conventional based dieting, like trending diets and all that sort of shit, right, we fixate on food and we think that we're a bad person for doing so. Or we start the diet, but then next minute, by the end of the day, we are so fucking hungry that we just want to go and bury our face in processed food. Now, I need to make it clear to you, you are not fucking addicted to food. What's happening here is this is just your body basically going, fuck you, bro. We're not going to go through that. And it's just getting you to eat so that you don't put it through what it perceives to be as, like perceived famine, right? And then what you realize is that when you are going through these periods of perceived famine, right, that's what your body literally thinks is happening when you go through conventional diets, yeah? So with you fixating on food, it's nothing wrong that you've done. Just stop fucking dieting, right? If anything, it's like that's your body trying to protect you and to keep you alive so that you don't grind with it in that way. So the take home here is that, it's not an issue of like you can't trust yourself around food or that you're a bad person because you think about it often. It's just like, just stop dieting, like start eating and stop thinking that 1200 calories, 1600 calories is like the magic number. Like we are built to be able to thrive on way more food. And this is something that I'm passionate about getting my clients around in terms of just like restoring the damage of conventional dieting and just getting them used to eating more food and thriving so that way they can have any chance at leaning down again later on way more calories and like just get them out of those real sort of fixation around food. Because the thing is that food should be enjoyed. It should be something that you have deep intimacy with, that you respect, and that you can just, not bat an eye over and keep everything in your house in terms of just all sorts of different food and not be stressed about it. So if you can relate to anything in this video, you want some more information around how I coach people to basically sort their shit out in response to food, drop a comment below or slide into my DMs. Either way, thanks for watching. This is an awesome video and really fun to film, and I hope you got some value from it. If you did, drop it a love, and I'll see you later on.